Ooh, my voice is like cracking up here. Hey guys, we are live.
Don't you wish you could control your sick guy cool voice? Like,
Yeah.
use that when you wanted to, not just because you've got like terrible illness.
No, I mean, look, welcome to the final episode of the weekly, and we are doing the best tech of 2018. So there are no topics. We have a couple of things to talk about, of course. There's a lot of tech news we had this year. And of course, our usual host of characters, starting off with Mr. Warren Bowman. How you doing, man?
Good, sick. Damn it.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel the same way. And of course, Mr. Juan Bagnell from Some Gadget Guy. How's it going, man?
So I got my fever, flu, and sinus infection out of the way a couple days ago. So I feel like I'm gonna be the animated, upbeat one while y'all are sniffling in front of your awesome podcasting mics for the whole show.
Well, I mean, Sam might beat you to that. What's up, Sam? How you doing?
Yeah, we could be chipper.
Well,
We'll be the
I'm doing good.
We'll let them be all like dragon.
Sorry, Sam, you said, immediately Juan already cut you off. I mean, things are starting hard already.
It's already started, man. No, I'm doing good. Haven't been sick for like, I can't remember ever being sick around Christmas. So I've been lucky so far. So I'm doing good. No need for any cold, nothing. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm sick. I just came back from Dallas, and it is colder in Dallas than it is in New York. It was high of 37 degrees in Dallas, so it was cold.
Dude, I just came back from Houston. It's not like we're going back and forth in different places. Houston was nice. It wasn't like it was like boiling hot or something. Stop making excuses for the weather, man. I mean, for your sickness. You got sick. You got weak white blood cells, man. Train those white blood cells.
I lightly stepped on Sam, and now Sam is like raising everyone up to the ground.
Yeah, I just muted Sam, so take that.
I was just gonna add that like today we had a high of 60 degrees, so I had to break out a hoodie because it's pretty cold here in LA.
Shut up, Juan.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, so we have a show for you where we'll be talking about some of the things that we liked this year, things we didn't like as well, and some of the tech news, some of the best tech news that we had this year in 20, because there's a lot of stuff. Thank you everyone for chiming in. I know you guys have been asking about the show, and I am going to say that this will be the last show for a while, just because we want to look at things and retool, and also, to be honest, it just hasn't been doing well in the numbers. So, we see if we might actually just take this as a podcast only, or it might be a pre-recorded show. But you know what? Leave your thoughts. I know some of you might be pissed, so let us know what you think about that. Also, there is a giveaway, multiple giveaways. We're giving a couple things. First off, we are giving away a Pocophone F1.
Hey.
Yep, right here. So you could win that. There's also an Overwatch edition gaming headset here from Razer, which is nice. And we are giving not one, not two, not three, not four, but five $20 Amazon gift cards. So
if I'm looking at the live chat right now, literally everyone who's in there right now should get something.
So you have it there. We will randomly pick winners, through and through. We might even ask a question or something, so we'll see. So let's start off with just our general thoughts of the year. I'll start off with you, Sam. I hopefully don't have anything harsh to say to me besides the fact that, you care about my health. But what did you think of 2018 as a whole?
You know what? I'm not even going to talk about your weak white blood cells, man. 2018 was
saving that the whole time you had him muted.
I know, right?
2018 was actually quite interesting. I think 2018 is the year when it came to tech that we all realized that a lot of legislature or a lot of our legislation in tech is somewhat backwards. The people who we trust to make laws for us are old and don't understand the technology they're making laws regarding. The biggest names in technology have turned out to be some of the greatest abusers of user data. It's just really amazing from a social media and social engineering standpoint that 2018 was a monumental year for us to see how the social media is essentially failing the people who use it. From a hardware technology standpoint, there's been some really interesting tech out there. I think one of the things you're giving away, the Poco phone, was really interesting. We've seen devices die, like basically the essential phone. We've seen, Samsung, the regular names we expect. But for me, the standout is still the Note 9. I think basically having the Note 9 and being able to compute on my device is an amazing thing. Being able to dock my device and use it as almost a full-fledged computer. It really helps me in my day-to-day. So that's just my kicking it off. I'm sure there are other more interesting things that's come out, and we'll talk about it later. But right now, that's what I'm going to kick off with.
Wow. Sam went for the juggler there, went against social media, picked his favorite phone every year, which is a Galaxy Note series. And he talked about, how legislator is old and decrepit. And I want to give a shout out to two people already. First off is Harish Mukpakpet. Thank you for donating. Appreciate that, man. Bigs up to you. And of course, Fat Produce. Thank you. He says, Happy New Year, guys. You're my favorite podcast. And some people are saying we should just make it a podcast also. So again, leave your thoughts, guys, because this will be the last show for a while. So let us know what you think. So now that Sam has laid his cards on the table, I'll go over to you, Mr. Warren Bowman. What did you make of 2018?
I think you should come back to me just because you mentioned legislation, and I can see Juan is already ready. Let's get his rant out of the way.
All right. Let's go to Juan then.
Okay, I can go in next. I'm gonna follow a lot in Sam's footsteps for the general trends. I mean, we're gonna get into some more specifics in individual devices and manufacturers, I'm sure. But 2018 was a rough year. It was a roller coaster ride. There were some fun moments, but ultimately, I think this was confirmation for a lot of the things we've been discussing for several years now. If you go back and you listen to some of the podcasts that we put out in 2016, we're still in a holding pattern. We've hit peak smartphone. We've hit peak mobile hardware. We're still waiting for those data and services to catch up to the supercomputers that live in our pockets. And we're still following some of the same disappointing trends where if you had a phone from 2016 and if it were still getting good software updates, it would probably still be a competitive device today with minimal maintenance. And that's an upsetting trend amongst all the other conversations that we've been having about device longevity, device repairability, right to repair, and price tags that are now climbing north of $1,000 for pocket computers. These are all trends that I think made 2018 a very exhausting year to cover this tech for the beats that we cover. At the same time, I think we saw some interesting things happen where at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of frustration with like desktop and laptop hardware, RAM prices. We're still seeing a lot of collusion politically on things like individual computer components, RAM especially, GPU pricing that got wildly out of control because of trends like crypto. But coming into the end of the year, all of that kind of cratered. And those of us who really care just about that price performance, making a new system, building a new PC, getting back to basics, or trying to create something that we can use to make stuff with. 2018 wrapped on actually a pretty decent note. I mean, like I feel like we've come back to some sanity in the desktop and laptop markets for a lot of us. The political side of this is, I think, going to be what 2018 is remembered for. Is the number of times that media organizations, news media, social media, and politicians basically on all fronts let us down as citizens and consumers, where we had opportunities to question people that were in charge of these mega corporations like Facebook, Google, Apple, etc. And the people that we've elected to represent us didn't do so with distinction. In fact, largely let us down in their ability to handle and grasp the problems facing us today. We saw politics completely co-opted for things like regulatory action and consumer protections. And we're going to have a reckoning, I think, throughout this next year. We're going to have a reckoning with how much control a handful of companies can have over our media, the dissemination of information, publication, etc. And you know, for as much as I'm going to be, this is the right time of year. We're all kind of feeling like, you know, this is going to be a fresh start or a change or what we can look forward to. I feel like 2019, we've got some very steep and grown-up challenges ahead of us, but hopefully we can start to untangle some of the issues that we directly faced this year. And that's going to be an ongoing conversation that we have to have over this next near-term piece of time. So on that note, in the spirit of sharing and giving, let me pass off before I soapbox anymore, and we can.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Juan, I kind of forgot what you were talking about. Kind of lost me there for a second.
Oh, damn.
The show that we produce, so these topics would probably be foreign to you. So.
Oh wow! Excuse me. Sorry. I mean,
you dropped definitely the megapixel on you. Megapixel on you.
Right. Oh, and also merch. Yes. So there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, you are right though, especially on the way that we've been let down by, you know, the powers that we've held up for, you know, at least the last decade or so, whether it's media, social media companies, as well as the, you know, House and Senate and, you know, the government itself. Warren, how about you? Where do you stand with 2018?
I think in 2018 for tech, I think you have to look at it in a few different ways. And as far as policy goes, I think Juan and Sam covered most of those things, and sort of talking about how legislation has let us down, where, you know, people just know that the internet is a series of tubes that we have in Congress, and will politely tell you to print me the internet whenever possible because they have no idea how the internet actually works. So there is a lot of growing to do, and there needs to be a lot of people that are younger in Congress or working with members of Congress to give them a better understanding of how the internet works. I think we learned a lot about the misuse of data this year in many, many different ways, and how social media hasn't worked for us in the way that we would like it to, but it also kind of hints to us that we should probably be paying more attention to these services and free services we sign up for, because it says it in there what they're going to do with any information that you give them. So you need to kind of have a little bit more of a keen eye on a lot of those things, and holding these companies accountable for when these things are, not just Facebook, because it seems like Facebook was the one that was getting nailed with everything, while there are plenty of other tech companies who have had free reign over this. It just includes the Amazons and the Apples and all of them of the world, to be able to do whatever they want to do because they lobby the hell out of it to let them do what they want to do. So it's not just Facebook in that case. So you need to really hold a few other companies more accountable. Speaking of that, we need to hold Amazon on, I think, honestly, to a bit of a higher standard as well too, because this is a company that, while I do like shopping on Amazon, I do like shopping online there, they are running a model that could potentially destroy many other companies, because a lot of times they run a thing where if they can't buy you, they just beat you down with their size. And that's something we really need to be very, very pay a lot of attention to, because I've noticed that if I buy something that I really do like, if something is a popular item, there tends to be now this Amazon version of it that will pop up as an alternative. And they usually do that to try to, because maybe a company hasn't decided to be bought out by them, or they just want to be their own thing. And so instead of doing that, they'll just beat you down with their pricing and their aggressive marketing to try and force you into that. So a diaper company fell into this space. I forgot what their names were. But there was a diaper company that's a good example of, they did not want to be bought by Amazon, and Amazon essentially aggressively priced the diapers so low to pretty much force them to buy out, and then Amazon raised those prices back up once again, because that's kind of the strategy they want to pull, is to be essentially the main retailer in the game and dictate pricing to finally make that profit. They're playing a long tail game to make obscene profit towards the end of this whole thing. And I think we need to look at managing those companies and really watching these things. In my view, if Microsoft could be broken up this way, I think there needs to be a case where a lot of these other companies may also need to be broken up in very similar ways as well, too, to avoid oligopoly and such that's kind of happening in this space. As far as phones are concerned, boring. I'm just going to put it out there. It was boring, and we overhype it. We do all in the tech community. We overhype what we try to say is good. And not that these phones are bad, but we don't ask for more. And we just get these incremental updates, and this is across the board out of pretty much everyone, with maybe one exception. I will give credit, surprisingly, to Apple, because the XS Max is at least a leap in a direction that they normally wouldn't have gone in offering a big screen OLED phone, which is not something I was going to expect them to do. I really expect them to kind of cheapen their way out of it or kind of keep the same thing that they're going. I'll give them credit on that. Not saying that they haven't put out the same thing all the time or the specs or everything is much better than what they are, but I do give them credit on a space of at least probably the only company I think tweakly thought out of their own personal box, while everyone else has been kind of doing sort of the same things over and over again. And it's got to be more than just cameras that we improve with phones, because we've now gone to this space again where hardware is caught up, but the software isn't improving. So now we need to go back to where the software goes forward and pushes the boundaries of what this hardware can do. It seems like Samsung is one of the companies, especially when we saw with their One OS, I forgot the name. I don't know if that's the official name. One UI, which I'm pretty sure they'll have a different name for it, but
no, that's the official name.
The official name? Yeah, I don't know how. That doesn't sound like good marketing. This is my opinion. I think of marketing, and I think they would spin it some different way, but it's good that at least they're trying to push things a little bit differently. We'll see how that sort of rolls out. But that's like, if you think about it, we didn't get anything really majorly different from the software front other than an extremely annoying Android 9 user interface outside of like anything else. So I would like to really see a lot of those things improve more so going into the future as well. So I think we've done the last 2 years of kind of steadying fast and just kind of being in this little pond, and no one's really tried to drop something heavy and really shake things up. So I'm hoping in 2019 and especially going into 2020 that we really start to see some serious shakeup going on, because the market in smartphones is saturated. Phones are lasting longer. People are getting wiser to these things and holding on to things longer, or staying in an upgrade path that might be even a year behind what the latest phone is, because they know they can get it at a cheaper price than they would for the latest and greatest, and know they're not missing a whole lot with it. People are a whole lot smarter now about these things. So I'd like to see them really make some jumps and some leaps and really give us true mobile computing on a phone. So,
all right.
That's my piece.
All right. Warren has stated his piece, and I would say I disagree with none of everything that you people have said. I know that didn't come out right.
That sentence was too clever by two.
Yes, exactly. I know. Sam sounded.
Was that a double negative?
Yeah, it was a double negative positive. Yeah, there we go.
But no, I mean, like even in the live chat too, I think Warren, that's the perfect word for 2018 when it comes to this kind of mobile tech. Is we all look for things to be excited about, and the reason why we do these shows is because we want to see progress. We want to see companies pushing boundaries, and 2018 across the board ultimately was a pretty boring year. I like when the company that I think is like when OnePlus I think delivers one of the most important phone updates of the year, and it really doesn't have much to do with the phone. It has more to do with their business relationships, is what made that move so exciting. We're not in a golden age of smartphones. We're at peak smartphone, and I think we're going to start seeing the decrescendo.
The most exciting phone. The most exciting phone in the last 2 years should not be coming from a company named after a fruit, who just really got their head out of their own butts, and when they made that.
See. Now this is where I disagree.
What phone has generated? What phone outside of the iPhone 10 in the last 2 years has generated the same amount of buzz and has generated this that level of excitement?
Poco phone. Yeah.
Okay, let me go down the street and ask if somebody knows what a poker phone is.
No, I'm not. Look, I don't look at it as an American thing anymore.
It's not about. You said
no.
You said buzz.
I would say the
poker phone did generate a lot of buzz among people who knew about it.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah, because they marketed it. They went. They did a heavy marketing for it, but that's not on the same.
But
that's not it.
Before we even get into all that, I haven't even said it. To me, this is the year of the Chinese manufacturer. Yeah. We forgot about that. This is the year. This phone, Huawei, Xiaomi, Oppo, this is the year the Chinese manufacturers said we know how to make devices and deliver. You know, previous years we've had one or two companies come out. OnePlus has always been there, right, in the mix. But this is the year where Oppo gave us a phone without a bezel and without a notch, you know, completely. Same thing with Xiaomi. They gave us a phone with the Mi Mix 3, which is out now, that is $450 and has all these features. Granted, yes, I agree. It has been a dull year for innovation on smartphones. But of course, we also know this is a mature market. But I like the fact that, yes, these Chinese manufacturers have actually come out and delivered devices that across the board will compete with anyone heavily. We've seen the decline of HTC this year to almost dead. We've seen LG.
They can get into the markets to compete. And that's not something that they have been able to change. To me, I get when they're doing these things and they're making it exciting, and I get that whole thing. But if it can't get to the masses in the way
you're talking about American masses again. Huawei sold 200 million phones, not a sniff in this market other than Amazon, and they are now officially number 2 combined. There was number 2 internationally. Now they're now the full number 2 worldwide. That just shows you how that market and those manufacturers have matured. I get it. The American market is always important. Yeah, but it also shows where the development of those markets are. Look at Xiaomi devices. It's not in America, but look at how mature those devices are.
But when you're using Huawei as an example, they've also got the benefit of somewhat being in the U.S. market for the little time that they were and spending 5 years of maturity to get to that point. Who else has gotten that opportunity?
I'm just talking about the devices. If you look at Xiaomi devices, you tell me that it's less than anything else?
Oh no, it's not less than anything else. It's just
that's why I said it's, to me, I consider it the year of the Chinese manufacturer because they've all come out. I mean, you said the iPhone. To me, the most innovative device is the Oppo phone. You know, everybody's talking about no bezels. These are the American companies. Apple is the one talking about taking out bezels. You know, people are taking about notches. Oppo is the one that gave us a device that truly has none. They truly gave us a device. What people were talking about, they delivered it.
Well, granted, we can also look at some of the other trends too. I mean, look at governments around the world sort of conflating the security dangers of network and infrastructure with the consumer sales divisions of companies like Huawei and ZTE. I agree in the sort of more general sense with Enabong that this was the year that China really threw some muscle around, and it's making other markets nervous for their ability to put out competitive, high quality equipment that consumers are going to like if they get their hands on, in addition to this sort of securities boogeyman as to who gets to control the future iterations in the backbone hardware of the next iterations of wireless and telecommunications equipment. But that's also what makes 2018 a difficult year to sum up. From a singular device situation, I totally see what you're saying, Warren. Like, being able to move Apple into this iPhone XS, XS Max, XR era of iPhone was a significant move for that company, and they're, you know, the number 2 seller here in the United States. They're a remarkable force worldwide. But I think as an overall trend, when we look at every developing market, when we look at all of the LTE that's lighting up around the world and all of the 3G that's being abandoned, China is exerting way more influence over way more markets with way more handsets than I think Apple has been able to manifest with a phone design that's already starting to underperform based on the company's expectations. And that became a major talking point. That was actually something that I wanted to talk about this year, was for Apple still being one of the most profitable companies on the planet. They reached that $1 trillion market cap. They had a huge market correction over these last couple months. would we say that this was a successful year for Apple, or are we gonna, or do we feel more like where the analysts are, that this was a challenging year for Apple, and that now, you know, investors are starting to feel a little bit of pressure of how much money is coming out of iOS? You know, we saw the continued press towards trying to get more consumers on iPads instead of laptops. You know, we know where Apple is making their money. We know where Apple is generating income, not only from the hardware, but from app sales. Is this a successful strategy? Did we think Apple really met that change, that they're facing the future? Or do we think that this is the last gasp of trying to extract value out of this current setup?
I mean, it's a very interesting year for Apple coming into 2019, not even 2018. I think 2018, they were fine, but they made a bunch of changes by not reporting. They said they're not going to report iPhone sales. I mean, they changed it from individual units. Now, they just don't report anything at all, you know, for iPhone sales, which is very interesting. And also the fact that, you know, I saw this 2 days ago, and somebody wrote an article, I just can't remember who, but, you know, Apple was having a trading sale for the iPhone, which one again? The XR, basically, which is something they don't do that often. It is very rare. And they're doing that, and I think also offered it on the X as well. I'm not sure if it was the Max. And I'm going, because literally the ad I saw from Apple was get an iPhone XR for $400. I was like, what? Then I clicked it in.
No,
it was
I tweeted that because it was a BS gimmick that Apple used to be above.
Yes.
They didn't used to play games like that.
Yeah.
Where it's
that's
like,
how you know that they know they're in the situation. And again, if you go back to that, like you mentioned, the laptops and iPads, where on their press conference, they said we have the highest selling computing device out there. And they put iPad sales and they put Dell and the rest of them all around. Basically saying, first of all, our MacBooks are dead. Or at least they just don't count in sales for us to even care. I mean, that's what they said. It wasn't me.
Consumer laptops in general have kind of come down in terms of how consistently. So that's like an every 3 year market.
No. Yeah, if you look at the graph, right? If you look at the graph, Dell wasn't that far off. You combine it with HP, it completely smokes it. So it's almost like saying, again.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that's combining consumer and business sales with that.
No, how much business sales do they make in iPads?
Oh no, they don't. They do.
No,
they make a
startups.
Significant amount in iPad sales in terms of business prospects with that. They definitely do. But in terms of their laptops against the competition from a business, to hell no, they're not in that space. But what I think Dell and HP are putting those are probably their numbers together.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, they put whatever numbers they felt will reflect worse on those guys. Doesn't matter. I'm using the graph that Apple showed up. To me, all those things point to a very interesting 2019 for Apple. Is that yes, the faithful will still be there, but as a company, we're basically even said in their earnings is like we're moving in. They want people to look at services. That's what they wanted.
Very Microsoft saying word. Very
I think that takes it back to exactly what the real issue with the industry is right now. A focus on services, right? A focus on basically consumer data, a focus on delivering value not for the consumer, but rather for people who need the consumer data to advertise. I think we had this conversation not too long ago where I pointed out basically Amazon 1996, Google 1998, Facebook 2004, Twitter 2006, the iPhone came out in 2007. What has happened in the last 11 years that has really caught our attention? These companies have all decided that they would buy anything that is new or relevant and basically fold it into themselves. So we have not had anything significant in the last decade come out. This is like, there's been a decade-long dry spell in innovation.
You talking about in terms of service or in terms of hardware?
In terms of hardware.
In terms of hardware or service?
Yeah. No, services, no. Services, we've had a lot of changes. Yeah. Hardware. Innovative hardware. Or innovative, just new ideas. So it's these companies, or should I say the industry, have now created a problem that it will be very difficult to get out of, because we've created these big monoliths that anything that comes out that even has an iota of succeeding and taking away consumers from their platforms will be bought, absorbed, and ultimately destroyed.
But that mostly hasn't been hardware. That's been software-driven stuff and services-driven stuff that they buy out on. And then if that's the case, we've had innovations with that. I mean, WhatsApp and Instagram are probably the two biggest things.
WhatsApp and Instagram, the two biggest things that have been bought by Facebook. WhatsApp and Instagram are both owned by Facebook.
Oh,
People say they're going to delete Facebook, but they still use WhatsApp and Instagram.
But that's because people don't understand that.
What I'm saying is still holds. What I'm saying still holds relevance. Any new idea that comes out in the last decade has been bought over, absorbed, and in some cases, just basically phased out. Take any major idea. Take even 3D. Some people say, "Oh yeah, but 3D came out." 3D, Oculus was bought by Facebook. So,
but that goes back to my original point in the very beginning.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna push pause here real quick because I see another face down at the bottom that I feel we should acknowledge, guys.
Joshua Magara here has joined us. Thank you very much for joining, Joshua.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And you're going to, granted, he's using a Chinese manufacturer device here. This is the Mate X Pro because I know that camera angle anywhere.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But thank you for joining. We've had this heated discussion where, honestly, though, guys, I was hoping we would talk more about positives about 2018.
No, actually, and no, Josh is the perfect guy for this because I feel like if anyone can help us with some upbeat recollections, some of the things that he found most exciting about 2018, I think he can jump into this and tell us why it didn't come from Apple.
Well,
now, before you continue, just to give you just some background, that we've talked about, hardware, software, news that have affected us this year. Ranging topics from Facebook to judicial hearings and devices and all that kind of stuff. So, for you, where does 2018? What was the year's summary for you? Just because it'd be interesting to hear.
Focusing or not focusing on my career change.
I love how Josh is like, fuck everything, man. It's my life.
No, this was another 2018 was a good existential crisis year for YouTubers, definitely.
For sure.
I mean,
I learned about burnout. I learned about where I want to be in my career and making the change in the middle of the year. Like, yeah, there's a big learning experience with 2018.
Well, this one is more on tech tech devices, and of course tech use.
Honestly, I would say that despite all of the craziness that's happening with Chinese manufacturers and how they're just like this easy target, I have to say there's some great freaking products coming out of China, and I think everyone needs to everyone just sort of needs to pull back a little bit and realize that good stuff is coming from China. So maybe let's not get too wrapped up in the politics of everything and just enjoy the products. Because let's put it this way: if we're that mad that China might be collecting and using our data, Facebook did it, and we talked about it at the beginning of the year, but no one seems to forget it. No one seems to remember that stuff. So it happens at home just as much as it happens abroad. So we need to pick our battles in a way. So I'm using one awesome product. I finally upgraded my laptop by moving to the MateBook X Pro. I'm happy with that. Literally everybody in YouTube is pretty damn happy with the Mate 20 Pro. So what's the problem right now? Like, let's prove the problems. Let's prove what people are claiming before we get so mad at the products themselves. And the products themselves are pretty great. So that's my whole thing, at least based upon what you were saying when I first came in. But I have to say, probably my favorite thing from this year has to be, what would be one really awesome thing? I have to say that this year has been so high quality. There's so many good products that have come out. There are reasons not to like certain ones, but just the level of tech we have in 2018 has been pretty awesome to watch. Notches be damned, all of the design choices that might have been made. We're at a place right now where we have an awesome level of tech. Everything from camera quality to smartphone quality, and I'm enjoying everything right now. I have like 6 phones on my desk right now, and all of them I love at the moment. So we're in a good place right now. Didn't John Renger just do a video recently that said tech is magical? And I'm like, it is. 2018 was probably the most magical year, despite all the problems we had.
Oh, thank you, Josh, for bringing some positivity into this. it was that was needed. But I mean,
the slider came back. The Fine 10 brought a motor back to smartphones. Like, we're getting creative again. Like, this is fun. Like, it's fun to see all of this. And I actually have to say a little bit of negativity. I feel bad because the slider finally made a return, but then the hole punch is going to eclipse it immediately. The slider was only around for like 4 months, and I'm going to be sad to see it go away so quickly.
You're going to be sad to see the unibrow go away.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you, on that aspect of, look, I said it earlier, Chinese manufacturers had a great year, and you said it quite well. Even though we've heard that, yes, Huawei is doing all the spying, and we have home companies who spy on us regularly. Prove the spying so that we know, okay, fine, this is what it is, or tell us what it is, or some aspects of it, so we can say, okay, why are you doing this? And that's where that part lies. But to the point of innovation, this is where I would say you and Sam differ. You talked about some creativity coming back, and Sam, you talked about the fact that, look, let's be honest, and I kind of agree with you more, is that, look, it's not being creative when, if you think about it, you're basically bringing old things back. You're just, it's like fashion. You're just rehashing a lot of things, right? It's not like you've done anything that's broken grounds. If you look at our smartphones today, and like, I consider the Mate 20 Pro the best phone this year. It does a lot of things great and well, and my battery just died, I think.
Cool down, damn it. Wow, it says internal temperature high. Dude. Wow.
I mean, this podcast is pretty hot. So
somebody was waking and baking.
Yeah. But anyway, Juan, continue. Let me sort out my A73 here.
Well, I do want to make one quick point about creativity.
While he sorts that out, Josh is going to make one quick point here. So I feel we should throw to Josh.
Yeah. So creativity is it's a very broad term. And I think that sometimes we forget that creativity could very much be taking old concepts and making them current. That's exactly what's been happening this year. So even if we are getting throwbacks, even if we are getting things that may have been part of the lexicon before, the fact that it's becoming relevant in our current state of tech is pretty awesome. And that's what I love about, retro. People throw that around like it's some derogatory term. I think that it's actually pretty awesome that stuff like that's coming back and it actually works with what we have today.
I totally agree with what you're saying, that there is a place for things like this. But I also think at the end of the day that, the industry in and of itself used to have, almost one new kind of push, one new kind of, let's just throw everything and its mother into this particular device. And you used to have one of those every year. Samsung had it in the Note line for a bit, where they would throw everything and its mother into the Note, which is why I started liking the Note line. But this year, at the cutting edge, everything has been lackluster. It's like, what is the major new technology in phones that we all want to have? We were all hoping for on-screen fingerprinting, and that kind of just like happened, but it kind of came in without any major manufacturer really implementing it. Yeah. So we're all looking at 2019 now for it. Where is the promise of this, like, go anywhere, always be connected? We're talking about it now, but that's not really going to come into fruition probably later 2019, maybe 2020. And if Huawei is prevented from basically, when I'm saying Huawei, if Huawei is prevented from basically launching a lot of the towers, then we're not going to see that for some time. So innovation, I think, has stagnated a bit.
We've got some great points here in the chat that I do want to bring up. Sean McCoy, how is the convenience of technology going to advance without some privacy invasion? We're talking about AI, machine learning, and algorithms like that, which I think is a great point. 2018 was another year where I think more consumers joined that conversation. There's no answer, right? We're all going to have to kind of move with technology as we feel comfortable, and companies are going to have to find some type of regulatory action when they abuse their position in trafficking our data. But we can't put that genie back in the bottle. I mean, if we want newer, cooler things and we start looking at the Star Trek computer, I think we're all going to be wrestling with those concepts. And then Rihanna Richardson also brings up something too. She says, I think it's unrealistic to expect companies to innovate every year. Mm-hmm. So is 2018 just a holding year before we start looking at new products and services? I think one of the concerns some of us might share, especially in this room and the collection of phones and tech that we've all been employing this year, I don't know that any of us would disagree with that sentiment, but how do we face holding pattern years with price tags that are aggressively rising for consumers as we start looking at this technological progress? And it's one of the points that I made earlier. Like, if you had a phone from 2016, if it was still getting support and you could easily maintenance it, it would still be a perfectly competitive device today. But that's not true. That's not the reality for most people. Most people don't get a 4-year-old phone that really gets cutting edge software and is easily repairable with replaceable batteries and upgradable memory and storage and things like that. So how do we reconcile that, where we expect companies to occasionally have down years, retooling years, QA and sort of experimental years, but then they keep raising the prices on us, even though we didn't feel like that was in line with the improvements that we got.
So we got to push the software. The software's got to get up there. We got to start getting what could be realistic mobile computing. I mean, we have obviously things like Samsung DeX that exist, but it's not like we're seeing too many other people truly compete with that in the way that I like to see it, especially if you're buying phones in $1,000 price range that put that.
HP come out with something similar, and then it just kind of went away, right?
Yeah, it's like they kind of come out with their thing and then it just goes away. I really think pushing, if you're going to put out the same iteration of hardware, which is maybe a processor or a spec bump up, similar to what laptops and things do and PCs do out there. Well, then let's try to then instead push the software up a little bit better. Let's try to increase the battery life. Let's try to increase better performance. Let's try to get other things that we can do on our smartphones so we can get it to that is your main computing device out there. There isn't any reason why smartphones shouldn't be able to take a huge chunk of the laptop and tablet market in a way, if they can put the software on there to fulfill the needs of people, like outside of people that are maybe content creators or maybe somebody that needs something of a little bit more power or a little more traditional out there. We should be pushing that boundary to kind of get those things to be better experiences and better use of things kind of going forward. I think just spec bumping things every year and then just putting out mediocre software updates, I think a lot of times it kind of comes out to isn't going to make it just doesn't maximize the potential that we could possibly be seeing from a lot of these phones.
I mean, I think the problem there is that we only have 2 software manufacturers. A lot of people stated this. They said, earlier in the chat, they said, the Galaxy Note 9 is cool, but I'm tired of Samsung not having updates. And I keep telling people, the reason Samsung doesn't have updates is that it has a lot of things that Android doesn't have yet. So it's really hard for them to actually throw any of that stuff in there until they actually fish it out. And, when you have only Apple, of course, with their ecosystem, that's one end, then you've got Android and Google. It was to me, it was a bit surprising when, Google said, hey, we will make our UI compatible for foldable devices. This is like the first time, because usually Samsung will do that stuff themselves, just for a foldable phone. That's usually Samsung's UI. And then they have to basically run a heavy overlay over Android, which makes those updates slower and slower. Google has to, especially for us Android users, Google has to take that initiative. If you think about it, in terms of devices out there, at least major devices that people use, there are only 3 software manufacturers: Apple, Google, and Microsoft, right? So which is why we don't have that much innovation in software.
Well, rant's coming. They failed. Microsoft failed us in so many damn ways with not continuing to continue them in the way they should. And really pushing things in the way we should have it done. Because I'm seeing people talk about 8 gigs and 10 gigs of RAM within phones. Well, what good is that if you can't do anything more than what we could simply do with less RAM than that on smartphones? Like, I would love to hear that with a Windows 10 phone that has Continuum on it, so that it is the platform that can be both a mobile device and can also be also be your laptop as well too. And that was the whole point of that whole thing, and that just died itself off. And then no one else really, outside of Dex, no one else really wanted to push it further.
Juan, you're about to say something?
We have a number of questions here, and I feel like we should give away a $20 Amazon gift card. So here's how this is gonna go. I'm gonna ask a trivia question. Now I need the consensus from the group here. Should it be the first person who replies, or should it be a random drawing from everyone who gets the answer correct?
I say first. You gotta be quick.
Bored at Work is Enabong is all about survival of the fittest. What do you think, Warren?
I guess first for this one. First for this one. We can always change it up.
One?
Yeah.
Sam, you're muted.
You muted him, I think.
No, he muted.
I muted myself. I have my washer going. No, I'll say first. I'll stay with it.
So, everyone, get ready. $20 Amazon gift card. What was the first handheld portable gaming system to have a color display?
Well, not what Enabong's using because it's too high again in temperature.
All right, let me see who actually comes in first on the chat, and then we'll see who gets that first $20.
Bernie Ingo says Razor. But did my thing die again?
Yeah, it died again.
Hey, we got some good answers here. No one's gotten it yet. Nope.
Everyone's like furiously Googling right now.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Someone says the Cube, the Famicom. What? That is not a handheld portable gaming system, my good sir.
Not Game Boy Color Advance.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Right there. That was a good one.
Palm got it right. It was, of course, the Atari Lynx.
Yep.
We're rocking Altered Beasts back in the day. You were rocking Altered Beasts on the Atari Lynx. Thank you very much.
I don't know. That was before my time. My first color display handheld was a Game Boy Color.
I lusted over the Atari Lynx. I wanted one of those so bad. But Mila, good job. How you guys want to confirm, Mila?
Mila, could you?
She said my dad still has his. That's gone.
Like your dad's probably a contemporary of mine.
Yeah, Mila, if you could tweet any of us, either Bored at Work, Some Gadget Guy, BW1 on Twitter. That's the only way we can confirm. Man, YouTube and messaging. Oh, Jesus Christ! It could be so easy. If I could just say, "Hey,"
really, we've got to move this off. You guys want to do another one? You want to do one more right now because we're already an hour into this stream.
Yeah. Let's move it. Let's do another one. What's the next question?
Hey, hold on. I'm putting it in the live chat. Okay, I'm gonna say for the Amazon gift cards, let's go with firsts. All right.
Yeah.
We'll keep going with firsts. Okay. I'm gonna slow everything down here for just a second. Let the anticipation build. How much RAM did the first commercial Android phone have? Want to see some good answers? You even need to tell us what the phone was. You just need to know how much RAM it had. John McCoy.
It's like a Game Gear. I love the Game Gear, but no, that's not the
I feel bad for people that are like on a time delay. Oh, Master 666, 2 gigabytes of RAM. Come on.
God.
Jeez.
Such wishful
talking
thinking.
about like the Windows Mobile days. 513 meg.
Oh, God.
Oh, Rihanna saying 512 gig.
Almost like 8 kilobytes.
Seen it?
1028 kilobytes. Oh God.
No. Oh, Demir Frank is in the live chat. The nitpicker says 256, but it did not have 256.
I can't remember, man. Even I can't remember.
Shemfei got it right. 192 megabytes.
You had that phone.
Yeah, I used to have it. The G1.
G1.
Oh yeah. Was that the one that wouldn't rotate? Or was that the other one?
That was the other one.
Same thing, Shemfei. You've got to try and hit one of us up on the Twitter so that we can get our messaging in place and you can confirm your $20 Amazon gift card. I mean, we were gonna do 5 of them. You want to do one more?
Let's throw it out there.
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay, let's do an easier one, because we made this joke already during the show. Here, I'm gonna put this in the live chat so E can copy it out real quick.
Since I have the image.
We did talk a little politics. We did talk a little tech and how our politicians often let us down. And we already referenced this quote. So who is the person who described the internet as a series of tubes?
Well, now we're about to find out how old these people are in this.
We're about to find out how people good at Google. That's what we're about to find out.
I'm happy I wasn't there for all that
Number one
politics
first person
talk.
coming and saying Trump.
I love that. No, he said the cyber.
He says the cyber.
The cyber.
The only one.
Oh, that was quick.
No, seriously. I figured this one would be easy. Oh,
Yeah.
Snowmation.
That was quick.
Snowmation
Got it. Yeah, he did.
It was Ted Stevens. Ted Stevens.
Series of
Ted
tubes.
Stevens described the internet as a series of tubes. So that's 3. And Snowmation, again, try and hit us up on the interwebs of some kind of messaging system.
Oh, Snowmation.
That's such an age question.
Yes, yeah.
That's such an age question.
Okay, no. Josh,
That's such an age question.
Who's a 90s kid, huh? Who's a
Oh
90s kid?
boy.
We'll know when you went to college.
Okay. So we still have people replying to the last one. Some people coming in with
George Washington? Seriously?
and his wooden teeth described the internet as a series of tubes. Okay, so this is coming by way of Josh for another $20 Amazon gift card.
Number 4, right?
It's number 4.
You have to be up on your internet chat lore. So if you were, I don't know, maybe making that move from dial-up to DSL, and you were jumping on to messaging boards or in some
AOL, man.
group chat room or something like that.
You might have had
if you were in the middle of a conversation and someone jumped in and wrote out the letters ASL, what were they asking you? What was the early internet meaning behind ASL?
This is super pre-Tinder.
If you answer this question, this means you had a high school kids club account, college club account.
Wow, that was fast.
That
mean,
Alpha. Alpha got it.
Just by a hair, beat out Andrew Wallace. You
guys Googled this. Oh no, there's too many.
But they were really quick though. They were.
Yeah, I think we have some people in their mid to late 20s and early 30s.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so I have to nerd out on some Trek for the last Amazon gift card. This is one of my favorite Trek trivia questions. Oh, let me put it in the live chat so they can be copied out.
Okay, Alpha.
Make sure to contact us.
Sorry.
Yeah, Alpha, hook it up.
Issues left to right. But anyway, Alpha, tweet us on basically just tweet either Bored at Work, BW1, or some gadget guys so we can confirm you and we can send the gift card to you.
And we just did get one of the messages in from Neil. So we have that coming in here right now too. Snowmation
That's funny.
On YouTube.
We went from ASL to WID.
Okay. Last Amazon gift card. This was a fun block of the show. Okay. Last Amazon gift card. And this is a Star Trek question. I'm loading it. This is this is the gift card I'm giving away.
Oh jeez.
How many different species has David Warner portrayed throughout all of Star Trek? I have high expectations.
It's such a deep question.
Yeah, that is a deep question. I'm already lost.
I know there's one person in our chat who should have this on lock.
Yeah, one person I know for
428, 4375.
I like to just throwing numbers out to 790.
Okay. So the first is where's Mr. Mobile when you?
I was about to say somewhere Michael Fisher is sneezing because we're talking about Star Trek right now.
Somebody put the Mr. Mobile beacon up.
So the correct answer is 3. He was a human in Star Trek 5. He was Chancellor Gorkin in Star Trek 6, and he was a Cardassian in the famous Next Gen episode where they tortured Picard. Sword of the Stars got the right number, so we can. I didn't know
Kardashian. I thought it was 4. Was he?
He
was never a Romulan. I always thought he was a Romulan.
No, I don't think David Warner, because David Warner was a Cardassian.
Yeah, I know he was a Cardassian. He was a Klingon. He was a human.
To be mixed with Kardashian, the other alien species.
Interesting. I would have guessed 4. I would have guessed 4, but I guess it's 3.
We'll take it to IMDb because we had a number of people saying 4, but I always thought it was 3. But I'll look it up right now.
I just looked it up. I think you're right.
Right now, if it's 4, it's Harish got it. But if it's 3, then Sword of the Stars is our pick.
Trekmovie.com kind of says he's been 3, so I'll go with that. Klingon, Cardassian, and human. And yeah, he was never Romulan
because he was the voice of the MCP in Tron. That's just another fun piece of.
Harry said before.
End of line.
Dang.
So let's see.
Well, Paul Gardner says 28 is divided by 4.
That's awesome. Wow, I didn't realize we had so many Trekkies on here, man.
I would never have gotten that. That was a good one.
All right, so that's us through the
gift cards. Yeah,
the gift cards. So far, 2 people have responded. Again, just the people who've won, basically, sort of the stars. As well as who else won?
Okay, so he's been in Star Trek 4 times, but he's only played 3 different species. So he's played a Klingon, a Cardassian, and a human, at least according to IMDb.
Mm-hmm. Alpha and Sword of
the Stars. You got it. Hook it up. Hit us up on Sword of the Stars is asking, how do I claim the prize? Hit us up on Twitter or somewhere where we
no post is necessary.
Yeah, just tweet to Bored at Work, BW1 or some gadget guy, and then we will respond.
Yep, we got the Twitters up.
Yeah, and we'll send that over.
It's connected by a series of tubes.
Before we get too much further, actually, there was a question that was asked earlier about privacy and how do we
how do we reconcile the fact that a lot of our tech has to be convenient, so of course it has to learn about us. So that's a privacy concern.
So it is a privacy concern. I get that everyone has their privacy concerns, but there are ways that these companies can give us the same services that we have right now without taking personally identifiable data, and that's the thing. It's not just about having our data. It's basically being able to tie our personage to that data. Basically being able to remove all your personal identification, personally identifiable information like your address. They don't really need your address. They really need just like a state and a town and a state, or a city and a state. They don't need exactly, even zip code would help.
Zip code is
but what we're finding is that a lot of times these companies aren't following any guidelines because there really are no laws that explicitly say, there really were no laws that explicitly said don't use X or don't use Y. Now we're getting these laws coming in at the tail end of this, when we're finding out that for the last maybe 4 or 5 years, these companies have already been abusing use of personally identifiable data. So this is something that I think being a little bit more educated about how machine learning works and the kind of data that goes into constructing these algorithms would help not just our legislators, but also help consumers understand exactly, hey, I'm getting this software for free. I'm giving something back, but I have an expectation that this set of information should be kept safe. I think that's really where we need to focus on.
And I think the EU's done that with GDPR. Let's sort of
exactly
make a step.
But GDPR was basically late last year, early this year.
It was this year,
and it started being implemented this year. So
this year. So trust me, I'm fully aware of how that's been working. It's a lot of changes with that.
But you see, this is the thing about GDPR that really kind of illustrates to me why we need better lawmakers. There have been laws that basically govern the identity of consumers in financial institutions. We've had those laws for a while, but no one has raised their hands up. And I think this is simply because we have people who are in their dotage right now making laws, because no one has come out and said, hey, this same thing should apply to, modern social media or any data mining initiative. So it's not like the laws don't exist. It's just they haven't been applied to new technology.
Good answer, Sam.
True story.
True story.
Yeah. Just waiting for more people to respond here. But all right, so we've talked about a lot of negatives in 2018, things that kind of pissed us off. I don't want to stay on cell phones, and some YouTubers have done this. What device now, besides the cell phone, really caught your attention this year? It could be anything, but what device really caught your attention? You really liked, you said, yes, this happened in 2018.
We should get to Josh because he's got to get going soon, and then I'll probably not be too far behind him.
All right.
Cool. I've been curious about that. Tell us a little more.
This is called the Aura Ring, and there are a lot of smart rings that are coming out. The main ones right now that do some sort of health tracking are the Aura and the Motive.
Yeah,
we talked about Michael Fisher earlier. He wears that. And okay, here's the thing. This is the device that I've always been interested in. This is Gen 2. Gen 1 was this huge hunking rock. It was just not a good looking ring. And then Gen 2 came out and I scooped it up right away. It is expensive, but what it's mainly it is the best sleep tracker I've ever used, because it measures temperature, heart rate variability, a lot of different factors. It has an accelerometer in it. It's the most accurate sleep tracker I've ever used. But even more than that, what the app tells you is based upon what it finds as you're sleeping, it tells you whether or not you're actually rested up for your upcoming day. And if you're not, it tries to give you tips on how to get better sleep, because that's the ultimate goal. Then this is where my love for this product comes in. It's because it reminded me that you can have 10 different things tracking your fitness on your body at any given time. If you're not actually doing something with that information, it is an absolute waste of money for you to have a fitness tracker. And I think the vast majority of people out there have a Fitbit on, or Android Wear doing Google Health, or an Apple Watch, or anything like that. And they're all yo, I did 7,000 steps today, but I still feel like crap. So you're not doing anything with the information that these trackers are giving you, and that's exactly what has to be done. At least this app is trying to do that for you. So it's reminding you what you can do, why you feel the way you feel, and it's actually trying to make you better. But for most people out there, if you have the product, you have to learn what to do with the info you're getting. So that's the reason why I love this thing this year.
That's about to start my rant on fitness trackers. I've already heard this year, because the one fitness tracker I felt actually provided good information, collected it, and it sort of gave you an advice or gave you a way to sort your data and look at it and a way to improve on it, was the Microsoft Band. And my Microsoft Band decided to die this year, and because they decided to kill it off before it even had a chance to really actually exist, I can't track my workouts the way I'd want to. I actually tried using Google Health. That's a piece of junk, to be honest with you, because that will track you. That'll, if you're on a train, it'll pretend you're running. I just don't get that. It does this automated thing, and I have to go back and delete things. I said, well, I have to do extra work for this. I'm cutting that off. Fitbits count steps, and that's about the point that they do. But there was nothing else out there that did. No, you tracked your workouts, added guided workouts to your system. You could customize and put workouts on it. You track your VO2. You could track your sleep with it as well too.
Oh, VO2, nice.
Yeah, the Band 2 did VO2. You could track your sleep with it as well too. There was all these things that this could do in this one little package that you can then manipulate the data accordingly to kind of get a good sort of dashboard about your health. And it imported it, and it was real cool, but they decided to kill off the one thing that connected all that, because there's no other device, no fitness tracker out there that does that similar thing in so many ways, and do it to a pretty decently accurately well in the way it does. And not 100% accurate, but with most fitness trackers, you just stick to a system and just work within that system and don't try to vary sort of out of it. No one's offered that since then. They've just kind of boost up your smartwatch to.
Josh, how much is the ring?
It is okay. I'm trying to remember exactly how much it is. Let me double check real quick.
It's about to be lots of monies. With a Z.
It is.
Money's with a Z.
It is not. It is not only expensive. It's also coming out of Finland, so it takes a long time to get to you. It's $299.
$299.
Yeah, it's competitive with the Motive, really.
Yeah,
it is.
I think it's better than the Motive. I was supposed to do a review on the Motive. I have to reach out to them and say that I will not be doing a review because I have issues connecting the Motive to Android and even connecting to iOS. It doesn't collect my data as well.
I will admit that the Aura works best on iOS. I used it on Android for a long time, but then I moved over to iOS to see how it works there. It's definitely more stable. But one final thing, and then I'm going to bow out. Thank you so much for having me, by the way. This is awesome. Despite me having this angle, I'm like talking down to all of you, or I'm like this. But one of the coolest things about this ring that I'm always going to remember being the best part of the experience is if I'm in the middle of my day and I'm like, I feel like crap today. Like I feel like I'm not 100%. I open up the app and it's great when a tracker or a piece of technology confirms your own suspicion. Because if I feel like crap during the day and I look at the app and it says, yeah, last night, like you woke up like 3 times, you got like no deep sleep and your temperature was high, so you might be getting sick. It's that accurate. When a piece of tech can confirm how you feel and why you feel that way, that's good tech. And that's what this feels like. So
cool. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you joining us. I know it's a bit last minute, but
it's all good.
Having you in the show.
Happy New Year to everybody, by the way.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Happy New Year, yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you in Vegas in about a week.
Yes, absolutely. And then you'll also see Issa, but she's knocked out over here. It's straight. We had like a big lunch, so she's like food coma over here. So you'll see both of us at CES.
All right, man. Well, take it easy.
Take it easy.
Later, fellas.
All right. Juan, how about you?
So things that I actually thought did well this year. One of the industries that I was happiest to see pick up some momentum was VR. From when we started talking about Oculus and we started looking at all of those demos and what you could do with headsets, we went through, Google Cardboard and Daydream kind of flopping. The market started to chill. PlayStation got in with their offerings. This year, I think we saw legit gaming experiences that were improved because of VR. It wasn't just VR was a gimmick that you could look around. Beat Saber, I think, is one where it's become my ambassador. Like I can roll up with a laptop, my cheap Windows mixed reality headset, and put 2 controllers in someone's hand, and it takes minutes before they're engrossed in gameplay. PS4 of all the games, to think that like it's been around forever and you can still do novel things with it, but Tetris Effect in VR is the fastest way that you can lose all sense of your corporeal form and you're just moving blocks around just like Tetris that we've known for decades. Or you could take it up to you could take it up to a game like Astrobots, where it's a legit platform. It's one of the best platformers of the year. Not just, it's a good platformer for a VR experience. We've finally started, developers have finally started tapping what we can really do with this hardware, and I think now we've got better experiences to translate. So it's a little less of the chicken and the egg problem that we used to have. You could get this amazing headset, but then what could you do with it? Now you can do some really cool things with it, and I think it's starting to touch on the various and the broad industries that we can look at. Like, my wife and I played so much Beat Saber, we were actually like maxing out all of our fitness tracker scores while we were playing that game. Just like it got our heart rate up, it got us moving. We were faking our step counts because you were moving your arms around so much. That to me was one of the happier trends this year. So as we're getting into another generation of crazy, powerful, and super expensive GPUs, we're finally going to be looking at wireless options for some of these VR headsets. Now is the pivot point where I think manufacturers and developers can start making a better argument for VR as an activity as a service.
All right, cool. Warren, what about you?
I think what was cool, and this is probably going to be more for people that work in what we do. has been companies like Sony and like the A7 III, and seeing the competition in that full frame space really start to heat up with different offerings out there. One from Canon and one from Nikon that also surprised a lot of people as well too. I was really kind of excited to kind of see sort of that take off, where we're seeing full frame cameras with 4K video at a good price, give such great quality with it, and then there's other competitors that are in that mix as well too. So it's made me pretty excited for where to see camera technology sort of going forward in that space. Outside of that, I would say it's tough to say because I don't really have too much more that I kind of go back to where it was a bit of a boring year. There are some things that were just a little bit boring to me outside of those couple of things. I don't think anything else. Sorry to be negative, but it's just, I don't think nothing else really jumps out at me.
All right, stop. Just stop.
It just doesn't jump out at me.
A7 III. Let's just cut it there.
It just doesn't
had
jump
a good
at
streak. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. You can be happy about something. A7 III is cool. I know you like it. Sam, how about you?
It's kind of weird, but I'm going to go with the Amazon Alexa smart speakers. Just smart speakers in general. I'm going to go with that. It's really amazing that normally when I go on Christmas, to Christmas vacation, and I'm meeting up with family, I'm the one giving out the tech. But this time around, I got a one of the smaller Alexa's speakers in my as a stocking stuffer. And that totally blew me away because it's like I got one of those and smart plugs. And it's just amazing how the proliferation of this technology has gone out there. Everyone is aware of it. Everyone uses it in some form. Either you have the lights or you use Amazon with your shopping list. Or in some way, it's integrated into our lives. And it's just really amazing to be in that future already where we do use smart assistants. And everyone just takes it as commonplace. I think that, to me, 2018 was a year of smart assistants and smart speakers becoming commonplace.
Okay, cool. I guess that leaves me. I would have said the A7 III, but you took that away from me, Warren.
So his backup is the Apple AirPods. All right, end the show, guys. 2018.
Are you trying to slap me in the face?
I was going to see if I could actually capture an aneurysm on camera. See if we could lock that out.
Those things are so crappy. They should sell a subscription service too for how many times you have to replace those damn things.
Right, microtransaction, your hardware there.
Yeah, might as well.
No, I mean, I'll go with the Sony W1000 Mark IIIs. These are the first wireless headphones that the sound quality, at least for me, the sound quality really hit that mark where I said, your
internal temperature is too hot.
but I mean, no, seriously, to your point, E, it's not also like for as much as we might get snobby about certain things like codecs, LDAC ain't nothing to fuck with. I just did a round robin and a blind taste test on a little receiver unit that can do aptX HD and LDAC.
Yeah.
And it is surprising what we can do wirelessly. So especially with Sony taking the lead on that and then giving it to Android, right? So like all Android phones now just have LDAC support. That's pretty hot.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely like that, and I like what's coming in that wireless space. Like I just saw what Qualcomm is doing with the aptX adaptive, which is something that I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it was an issue, but I didn't realize that they could solve the issue. So I've always had this issue with a lot of smartphones that connect via Bluetooth. If I'm moving from my back pocket to my front, I start getting some signal loss or just a little break in signal degradation. And this allows for consistent signal and actually will push high-res audio on even lower frequencies as well, which to me actually was amazing. So it says there's a lot coming forward for wireless audio, which is good. But I loved what Sony did this year because I think they really set the mark for good, true wireless noise canceling headphones, which is something we've all been hunting for. The headphone jack is going away and all that stuff. So I definitely give them props for that because at least that to me is like a bright spot in audio. there.
And that's nothing to sleep on, saying it's like only one company has dominated that market for how long, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, with Bose, yeah. You know, it was a good thing to see. It was a good thing to see. Yeah, we have two things left.
But I'm gonna have to let you guys give those away. I actually need to get ready for some dinner plans, and I can hear mommy-daughter strife happening. So I got to go jump in there. But I'll take care of one of the gift cards. In fact, I just got a tweet from Shemface, so I'm gonna send him his gift card. You guys can sort out these last couple gift cards, and just want to say, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure producing this show and joining you on this show. The years that we've done the Bored at Work Weekly this way, this has been one of the things that I always look forward to during at the end of the week. So I hope we'll get some conversation and some people in comments talking about what would make sense for us. Because it's not so much that we're wanting to give up on this collaboration. It's we want to find what the next version of this or what the next step of this is. And I'm really excited to see what we'll be able to work together on in 2019. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. And I'm looking forward to doing some more cool stuff with you guys right soon.
All right, man. Take care and enjoy time with fam.
Yeah, we'll do, guys.
All right. Yeah. As Juan said, we are ending the video segment of the weekly for now, and we're looking for ways to move this forward. So we would love to hear your thoughts on that as well, to see what you guys actually think. So we need to come up with a question for our next two prizes. We've got the Overwatch headset, Razer headset left, and the final prize would be a Poco phone. So we'll discuss that there in our little chat section here, so we can come up with some questions. But while we're at it, what do you guys hope to see in 2019 in terms of tech? We know that, you know, smartphones notches will probably go away into, and, you know, will lend itself into punch holes. We know foldable devices are coming. We know that foldable displays are on the horizon. What do you want to see, or what do you expect as well? I'll start with you, Warren.
Hold on, I was kind of a little bit distracted. I was trying to create a poll real quick, but like, I'm assuming the question was
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
2019. It's outside, you know, the big thing I think the talk will be in the smartphone category will be punch hole displays and on-screen fingerprint sensors were going to be the two big things I think will be happening, along with 5G. So I'm really excited to see the push of pretty much all that tech in the smartphone space, seeing where sort of that is going to lead us towards. I'm really interested to see 5G and really where we're headed with that, and seeing these devices come out and really take things to the next level of that always connected, always sort of and always connected with fast speeds and stuff like that. I'm really excited for that. Other than that, I'm just taking the year to see what sort of comes around. I think maybe the one thing I'm probably really looking forward to is better software innovations on smartphones and better services that are coming up hopefully in the next year.
Sorry. Sam, how about you?
Lord.
I'm actually looking forward more to Google maybe rolling out its solution for automated call answering to all Android phones and not just Pixel, because I think it's something very useful, especially now that robocalls make picking up your phone now very tedious, right? We get so many robocalls every day, and to be able to have an automated answering service that literally just like shuts that down would really make people, might make phone calls useful again, or might make our phones a little more useful, or a little less annoying. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. I want to see if Google can do this, and if it can take it past the Pixel and just put it into Android.
Okay. Yeah, this sound pretty cool. People have mentioned a couple of things. Mark Ferguson says graphene batteries in 2019.
Ooh, they've been promising that for a while, man.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, battery life and is always key with smartphones. You know, this is the year 2018 was the year we got to 4,000 milliamps on a lot of phones. I mean, it's always been there with certain devices, but a lot of your key devices were getting close to that 4,000 milliamp battery range. You know, even with the Mate 20 Pro doing 4,200, and you can tell what kind of battery life it does with that kind of stuff. But that's actually pretty cool. I would say, I mean, for me, it's what that 5G promises and how quick this rollout is. The reason why I'm a little bit more excited, some people have said, well, kind of like the 4G rollout, what are we going to see that's different? My excitement is that at least on the speed side of things, it's not going to be like 4G where we promised this super speeds, right? And then it just dropped down to edge, which was terrible, At least with 5G, if it drops down, you're going down to at least what we have right now, which is not bad in the first place. But it's the promise of what that can do with automation, can do with cars. One of the things that I'd seen when I went to Qualcomm's 5G day, they were pushing with automotives is, look, we want every car to have 5G so that vehicles can talk to each other. And the demo they had that was really simple was, hey, look, you don't have to have an autonomous car. You don't have to have every car to just be like a Tesla, but your car should be able to communicate with everything on the road, aka the cars in front, the car in front of that, the street lights, the things that can be connected around the road. So that if you're on a single lane road and you're trying to overtake a truck, the car in front of the truck, all the truck will tell you there's a car coming. So even if you want to do, your car stops you from making that. Something very simple. And, it may sound trivial, but to me, I think it's really important for road safety, because we don't necessarily, at least at this point, doesn't mean that we need to fully have autonomous cars like, what Tesla was initially trying to push, but we need to have smarter vehicles, something that can help us and aid us. And it's not also just left to the BMWs and the Mercedes that cost $100,000, right? That can come down to your cheaper Hondas and your Toyotas and your Chevys and things like that. So that I'm excited to see how that at least starts moving out in 2018. Okay, we've got our first question.
So
not first question. First question for the
go ahead.
Headset giveaway here. I apologize for the first question. This one is very simple, and you should know it. And we'll still go with the first answer. What is the date of birth of Steve Jobs? If you can Google it quick, or your Google Assistant or Alexa can help you out, go ahead. Wow, it's taking people some time. I was expecting like fast ansers.
Someone just put the Google link in.
No, that's me. No, I dropped in a bit of a survey about the show.
Wow.
So anybody can kind of give their input as to what we want to evolve this to.
That's Daniel Mallow. Yeah. Okay.
Daniel Mallow.
Daniel Mallow, congratulations! You just won yourself a gaming headset. This is a Razer headset. So, congratulations, Daniel. Hit us up on Twitter, because that's the only way you can contact us, so that I can actually send you a prize. But yeah, and also, Warren just dropped the survey. Definitely let us know what you'd like us to do. I'll also leave it in the description of the video, so you guys, if you're watching it later, you can actually check that out as well in there. But anything else you guys want to see in 2019 before I give away the last prize right here? It's a Poco phone right here. The phone that changed a lot of people's mindsets about cheap phones, from Xiaomi. Then again, this is one thing I liked about Xiaomi, though. Their company only takes in 10% of their profits. Supposedly that's what they say. At least that's their company model. And but I realized what Xiaomi does and why they're able to do it is that they partner with so many smaller companies in China. Because I went to one of the events and they announced like a projector. I was like, okay, of course, every Chinese company makes so many things. And they're like, oh no, we don't make it. It's this guy. This is the president of the company. They make it. Xiaomi is basically the company that does it. They basically take the gaming model right?
But the label, they're just a publisher.
Yeah, publisher. Yeah. The publisher and then the developers out there, and they're like, yeah, so it was interesting to see that from them, and they want to make that big push into 2019 to the US if they can, with their devices in there. But yeah, guys, anything else you guys want to see for 2019 on the legislation and also software side, because we talk about hardware here for a second.
There's quite a lot I would like to see. I would like to see, something similar to GDPR for the US as well. Something that our legislation or our Congress can actually put out there that is meaningful, right? Something similar to the right to be forgotten. I would like to see people have more access to the information that Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, all these other companies have on them. I would like to see the ability to basically be able to pick what information you want to share across all platforms, and then pick what information you'd like to delete and stop marketers from using. Because yes, as much as we can have, as much as we can have selective data used, or we can have non-personal identifiable data used, there's so much data that's out there already. It would be nice to have a report or to have a site we can go to and see all the data that's available, and from that one site delete what we need or correct what we need to have corrected. And I think this should be a legislative push, very similar to how we are allowed to have our credit score, where we can go and request it from one of the 3 credit bureaus. We should be able to go to any social media company and request our social media data, I would say.
Can't hear you.
I said that's pretty cool, and also a lot of wishful thinking. Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say, I was like,
like fries with that, Sam.
So yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but also again, I guess in a sense, it creates a. So my thing, which I'm sure a lot of people not understand, is the way America solves problems is it creates industries. That's what America does, right? That's a new industry you just described. Like the credit agents industry.
The credit industry was like solution to that.
Yeah, so that's what you do in the US, and that's something that hey, will help, because as social media continues to grow in our lives, like I think you said this very well, Sam. We as humans now have 2 lives. We've got our regular physical lives, and we've got a digital life that we have to manage. Yep. We've always had that with credit scores, but it was so murky and
credit scores were a mystery until the internet came around.
Yeah, so with this now, we definitely need that kind of stuff. So that's I hope so, man. But I don't think it's gonna happen in 2019.
Well, I'm hopeful, because as we all know, there was a recent election in the United States, and 2019 is going to be the year where a lot of these younger congressmen and women come in to basically start their tenure in Congress. And there are quite a lot of young people there who are doing things. I'm not saying young as in, 20s, maybe 1 or 2 of them are in their 20s, but they are young as in 30s, 40s, people who use this kind of technology in everyday life and don't have to go, hey, could you print me out that email?
Print the internet.
Yeah, print the internet. So I'm hopeful that maybe this doesn't happen in 2019, but I think the discussion for this might start in a year where we have so many young people coming into the legislature.
We have a lot of people that are coming in that are from the later Gen X era, now first millennials coming into the space. And it's really cool to kind of see a lot of us finally getting into politics in the way into this space. Many of us are now at the age we can actually run for president. We're just kind of I just turned the age to get to that, to be able to get to that. So it's kind of cool when you think about those things that we're starting to get involved. And what I like is that I feel like we're getting involved at a much earlier age now than a lot of other generations do. So I think by seeing that, I think in 2019 we're going to see more of us jump into here. And 2020, I think, might be a crazy wildfire with the way things with the way things might be around that time. But to see that come in is really going to cause for a lot of these changes, because the biggest thing that needs to happen is to start in talks of holding the FANG companies accountable and providing legislation against them to one, prevent monopolies from happening, to prevent them from controlling everything within our tech space, basically at this point, and if needed, breaking them up, because we had no problem doing that to Microsoft when that went down, and we had no problem doing it to Ma Bell back in the day. I think Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple. Yes, Netflix is in that space as well too. There needs to be some thoughts and discussions of, is it really good that all these companies are together like this, and really look at, setting some hard rules and guidelines and not allowing the lobbying, which they lobby extremely hard for, to prevent those things from sort of happening, because it could get to a point where they could be controlling data at a rate that's very uncomfortable, and could be, they could easily implement a system similar to what they're doing. What is that? What are they doing in China? That ratings, social currency, the social index.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing in any regards to sort of have out there, and we don't want these companies pushing these in a way without some type of rules, instruction, and regulation in there with it. Regulation is not a bad thing. It protects a lot of people.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our last prize, which is the Pocophone F1. Yeah, so you can win this prize. Now, the Poco F1, just to give you some breakdown, it has a Snapdragon 845 processor. It's running latest version of Android, close to a stock experience. This phone, though, does not work in the US. So just stating that clearly, if you don't know, but I'm sure a lot of you do know. But here's my question for you guys out there. This is going back to, of course, the first Android phone. Of course, as I heat up,
internal temperature high. Allow it to cool.
That should just be the tagline of this. Internal temperature high.
I don't know. Something is wrong with my A73, which is it's doing this. So I've got to figure out what it is. But the HTC G1, which is the very first Android smartphone, when did it launch, and what carrier was it on?
Oh, what's the question? Okay,
that's the question.
This should be answered within the first message. You all are nerds. I'm expecting high things.
I also need the month and date. Sorry, month and date.
Some of you got part of it. Some of you 2002, really?
Come on, guys, get in closer. Come on.
Oh, wait a minute. I think. Oh,
no.
I think Myla might have it.
No.
I need
month, date, and carrier. Oh, there we go. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali. That is a great name.
Does he have carrier though?
He does. I think he does.
Oh no, he does have carrier. Muhammad Ali. I kind of blew it there.
This is like Jeopardy, people.
I know, right?
Put it together, folks. Put it together, folks. You're like put it together.
You have to have everything. The first one to have everything.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Myla got it.
Myla can't win again, can they?
I don't know. That's up to the Boored at Work team.
Yeah.
And then Mohammed hit it again. And then where the hell did he go?
He vanished, man.
Sorry, I'm still here. All
right, I'm gonna let you put the ruling in on this.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, no, we have to. Okay, look, let's all congregate for a second, guys.
Hey, you can't share the blame around. This is all you.
This is all on you. Don't bring us into this.
It got really heated real fast. People were getting it wrong, and
people were getting pieces. And
pieces. Right. We so I'm just looking at it again. Who got it right all the way through? Just to make sure. Benny was close. Said October 20th. That was not the case. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on. Sorry.
All right.
Somebody said Warren for president.
Yeah. Warren should run for president.
I'll get all my scams and scandals out early. And I'll run on that platform and completely win. Just work on my charisma. Make up nice catchphrases.
Yeah.
All right. So did we decide on who?
Don't put that on us.
Okay. So Mila Pam was October 22nd, 2008, T-Mobile. And Mila, you did win the gift card. I'll have to give it to.
Hold on 1 second. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. What are you going to say?
No, I thought someone else did it earlier, but it was wrong. They didn't have the whole thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
Curtis Shaw.
Curtis
Shaw.
Curtis Shaw. I know. All right, Curtis Shaw won.
And Mohammed just got beat out of that.
Sorry about that, Mohammed. You were close. You were close.
Thank you for the endorsement.
Thank you, guys. I know you can't see me because my camera died there for seconds.
Oh, jeez.
A bit. But you won the poker phone, Curtis Shaw. So hit me up on Twitter, and I'll try and I'll answer and send that to you, all the information to you, so we can ship it out to you. All right, that is it, guys. That was the show. We went pretty long today, which is our usual fashion, which is great. I want to thank everyone who has supported us for the last 5 years. We've been doing the weekly. It's been great. It's been fun. I'm going to leave a link for you guys again for the survey that Warren just put up. Let us know what you think we should do for the show, how we should actually move forward. Is it a podcast? Should we actually post it as a non-live show? Or do you have any other options that we can try, that we can do? So it'll be cool to hear from you guys about that, so we can move forward in 2019, because we want to keep doing this.
Yeah, we like doing this, guys. And we really but we want to make sure it's in a way that it reaches out to everyone and it really becomes a thing that everybody can enjoy and we can produce.
Yeah. Or maybe if we cut it to a monthly show. Again, thoughts. So just put it out there for us. So
there was one vote for that in the other section.
Yeah. So let us know. Want to thank.
I'll add that as a response. So
I want to thank Juan Bagnell. I know he's not here. For just waking up early in the West Coast to do the show on Saturdays, and just putting all the effort in there. I also want to thank Warren for coming in and bringing all his really strong energy and rant energy in there, and Sam for trying to pretend to be level-headed, but pretend. But I want to thank you guys a lot for just, doing this for 5 years. I didn't think we were actually going to do this long. I didn't know it was going to last this long. But it's not the end, guys. So I just want to say thank you very much. It's been great doing this with you, hearing your opinions and hearing sides of things that I didn't think, we would have such a good conversation. So thank you very much. And also, guys, I appreciate you tuning in every weekend when we used to start. I think we started off at like 9 a.m. initially. No, was it 11 a.m.?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Then we moved to 12 noon. Then this year we moved to 3 p.m. on Saturdays. So thank you very much for supporting us, leaving comments, answering questions and all that fun stuff. Appreciate it. And that's it, guys. Hopefully you have a great 2019 moving forward. But don't forget to check out all the channels. Check out Mr. Juan Bagnell on Some Catch Guy on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Also, check out Mr. Warren Bowman on Booredatwork.com, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere else on the web. And Sam, aka Black Iron _man, that is his Twitter handle and also his Instagram handle as well. You can follow him on both networks. And for us, it is Boored at Work on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as our website. Thank you for your support. Leave your thoughts on what we should do, and have a great 2019.
Bam.